Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is September 4th, 2025, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, Google gets a gap up and goes even higher. But first, looking at today's major economic events, so we have at 4 p.m. South African time from the United States, ISM Services PMI number coming out. Now breaking down the market, starting out with the Forex symbols, we watched the British pound get a slight bounce, almost 50% bounce, compared to its previous day's sell-off. That was anticipated. Now looking at the indices, Dow Jones and the NASDAQ, for all intents and purposes, really unchanged. Now looking at commodities, gold sold off after pushing even higher yesterday to 35.77, but it did sell off and testing some of that supportish level to see that this is really a breakout. Now looking at the stocks, it wasn't just Google that broke higher, but Apple also got a gap up and continued going higher as well. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin remains unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. First with the GBP USD. It's a slight bounce, okay? We're in relatively a tight range. I mean, besides that 50% bounce, as we sold off, we expected that 50% bounce. And sure enough, it came through. And now we're just like trading at a median, okay? We're not at the externality. We're not at the bottom. We're somewhere in the middle. And this could go in either direction. So it's a less probability trade to jump into it here. Now, looking at commodities, let's take a look at gold as it's sold off. That's a daily chart. Let's look at a 4-hour chart. It did hit 35.77, all-time record highs. It did push even higher yesterday, but it did capitulate and sell off. Now, we're bouncing off a short-term support level, okay, at 35.26, and we're at 35.38. Question is whether or not it's going to sustain this or is it going to sell off. So this is something to keep on the radar today to see how it's still going to unfold. Now looking at crude oil, it did retrace further down here from 66 down to $63 a barrel. Okay, for this time of the year, not a bad trade as we're expecting hurricane season shortly. Now looking at the U.S. markets altogether, really unchanged, much the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ really unchanged. Now looking at individual stocks, let's take a look at Google. Look at that. We jumped up from 211 up to 231 in after hours markets when a judge said that Google can continue using their Chrome. They don't have to break it away from Chrome. Kind of similar to what happened with Microsoft and Explorer. And sure enough, the stock went just haywire. Okay, so it's at all-time record highs. It'd be interesting if it can sustain this and keep on going. Now, what else caught the fever? Not Alcoa, but what else caught the fever is Apple. Apple got a nice gap up and also went higher. Now, no relevancy to the news of Google, but it's important to note this, okay? Now, the other thing I wanted to highlight, Alcoa hit that resistance level and traded below, about 80 cents a share. Not a big deal, but it's pretty decent play, okay, for all intents and purposes for a stock like Alcoa. Now, looking at the rest of the markets, really unchanged day to day. There's nothing really that jumped out besides these two. Even NVIDIA remained very unchanged yesterday as well. And we saw Bitcoin actually just remaining unchanged as well. So we're not going to focus on it too much. But as the week continues, as the month continues, we'll have more news events that actually will affect the markets in greater ways. This is Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.
My advice, this is the best time to trade.